Hi, I'm Holly Pike. If you'd like a trial of the Generation software that I use for digitizing, please visit trygenerations.com. This video is a recording of a live video I did for my previous students. You may hear references to You Can Digitize or YCD. That's my old website that is now closed. My new website is digitizingschool.com. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Good evening, everyone. This is Holly Pike from artisticthreadworks.com and youcandigitize.com with Generations. Welcome to our Monday evening webinars. Tonight I'm doing, again, something a little bit different. I'm going to show you my 10 favorite things in the Generation software. These are things that I would not want to give up and change to another software. And once you get used to them and you start to really love them and see how easy it makes your life, you won't want to give the software up, because other software doesn't have a lot of these things, or they have them but they do not work as well and they're a little kludgy, and that's a technical term for they don't work well. So I'm going to start with the first one, and that is the merge tool. You can merge lines to lines, same types of lines, satins to satins, or fills to fills. But you cannot merge lines to satins or satins to fills or fills to lines. So let me just give you an example. I'm going to take my line tool and make a line, turn on my 3D view, and I'll make another line, but you notice I'm starting right on the last one. And I'm just going to make a little design here. It doesn't really look like anything, but those are a whole bunch of lines, and they're all touching. In order to merge things, they must be touching. So now that I have all these lines in, I'm going to escape, select the top frame, hold my Shift key, and select the bottom one. Now everything is selected. You can see it's all flashing. I'll go to the View Outline icon, which is one of my favorite tools and will become your best friend as you work with the software. Now, anytime you see gray on the screen, you're going to click on it. You're going to right-click on it. So I'm going to right-click directly on that gray, and the magic menu opens, and I'll choose Merge. Now, when I choose Merge, everything in the film strip disappears. That means you did it right. And then Generate, and now you'll see that everything is merged into one piece, and it will stitch as one piece without any jump stitches. If you need to edit something, like it's not connected right here, make sure it's selected. Go into View Outline icon. Remember what I said. You're going to right-click and go into Edit mode. Let's make this a little bigger. Now my cursor changes as I hover over the node. I can left-click and drag and connect it together. The cool thing about our Merge tool is after you merge, you can still edit. You can still change things. If I want to change something here, I can just left-click anywhere on this line and put in a new point, like that. And it's still merged, and it still works, and everything's perfect. I love the Merge tool. The Merge tool is not only good for lines, it's good for areas as well. So I'll take and make a square, and now I'll make a circle. Escape, turn on my 3D view. I have the circle selected already, so now I will select the square. Once they are both selected, interesting. Okay, once they're both selected, you'll go to View Outline icon, right-click on the gray for the magic menu, and choose Merge. And now they are one piece merged together. Now, if you want this to be unmerged and you change your mind, you need to undo. There is no unmerge command, so you need to undo for that. You can also merge satins This would be a very wide satin. If I select both of them, the outline icon, right click and merge. Now they're merged together. It's an awesome tool. I love the merge tool. Okay, the next tool that is absolutely one of my favorites, I'm going to say this about every one of them because they're all awesome, is the Create a Void. Some software call it Dig a Hole. Some other softwares call it remove under stitching or stitching underneath. Remove multiple layers, some software calls it. Well, I'm going to make a circle. Let's make it pink. I'm going to make another circle right in the middle of it. And let's leave that one blue. Now if I want a hole right in the middle of this pink circle, because I don't want 2 layers of stitching, it would be too thick, all I'm going to do is right click on the area that I want the hole to be cut into. So I want to use the blue and cut the hole into the pink. So I'm going to select the pink. That was hard for me to grasp at first. For some people it might be easy, but it was hard for me. I'll go back to our favorite tool again, right click, come down here to create a void, and then I'll use create a void using an existing area. Now notice my cursor changed, and as I hover over, now I found it, I'm just going to left click and generate, and now I have a perfect hole in the middle of that circle. Now the difference between us and other software. Our software knows that we created that void in here. So it is going to make adjustments for the push and pull so that when it stitches, there will be no gaps. Most other software kind of feathers this edge. So if you had made this donut and you decided, you know what, I don't want that center in there anymore, I just want to get rid of that, you would not have a clean, perfect circle. So that's one really nice advantage to our software. But say I did not want that hole in there. I could do one of two things. I could merge it. Okay, so I could select both of these. And as long as it's touching, I can merge it and it goes back to normal. Or I can take this out and say bye-bye. Select the circle with a hole in it. Right click to the view outline icon, or click on the view outline icon, I apologize. Right click, and now let's fill a void. We can fill a void or all voids. We're going to fill a void. Again, our hand changes, and as we hover, that's the one we want to fill. It's gone, and the circle is perfect again. So if you decide, oh, I don't want that hole in there, I really do want that solid circle, you can go ahead and put it back in 2 different ways. Now we can always also create a void with freehand drawing. So if I right click on the circle, go to view outline icon, right click again, create a void by drawing freely. Now I can do that and hit enter, escape, and generate, and there's my hole that I created. Now I could undo if I want, if I don't want that, but say I've saved my design already, and then I come back and I say, you know what, I really don't like that in there. Well, let's just go ahead and fill it up. Same steps. Poof, gone. It's like magic. I love this feature. It's the most wonderful thing for cutting your digitizing time down. As many of you know, many of my team know, that you can fill areas in and then take them out with other areas so easily. It's so easy. You can also create a void using a rectangle or a circle if you want to do that. So if we do a rectangle, I'm just going to draw a box, and there's the void. You can fill it the same way. So create a void and fill a void are awesome, awesome tools. Okay, let's go ahead and delete that. Number 3 is the building blocks. Now, to my knowledge, all the 80 some odd softwares that we take trade-ins on do not have this feature. With most, if you want little design elements like these, you want these little design elements to use again and again and again, you would need to go into your open file, navigate to the folder, find it, bring it in. Go to your open file, navigate to your folder, find it, bring it in. Well, that to me is an awful lot of work. I don't like to work that hard. So we have building blocks where you can save design elements or complete designs in the software. You can save whatever you like at whatever size, and they are resizable, and the stitch count adjusts accordingly because they are like little mini gen files. They're little mini proprietary files that we make as digitizers in Generations, .gen files, and they behave just like a design in Generations. So we can resize them, we can take them apart, we can ungroup them, edit them, do everything we want to do with them. Very cool feature. But building blocks on their own are way cool. We can do some other things with the building blocks. There's always something we can do. If I double click on the building block, now I've got it on my cursor. I can left click and then come over here and left click, and notice the next one pops up. So now I can place the next one. Well, what if I want to flip it and rotate it? I can left click, oops, let's get it again. I can left click and then right click see that? I can right click and place that one. And when I left click here, it generates the next one. I can leave that one that way, so I'll left click again, it gets the next one. I can right click, so I can put them upside down and line them up for a border if I like. When I'm done, I just say OK, escape, and I'm done. Neat feature, your building blocks. You can build them and do all kinds of things with them. You can play with building blocks literally all day. I have a set in here called Build a Pumpkin. And the cool thing about this set is, here's my pumpkins, is I can bring my pumpkin up, put some eyes in, copy and paste, look for my noses, drop a nose in there, and a silly face, silly smile. Now I've got a design ready to go. All I have to do is save it and export it. Those are building blocks. And this, if I select all this together and group it, I can resize him. And he resizes perfectly because it is, after all, a gen file. Everything adjusts perfectly. Building blocks are a wonderful, wonderful tool. Okay, that was number 4. I had merge was 1, create a void was 2, fill a void was 3, building blocks is 4. Now we have divide with a line. Divide with a line, very cool tool. They're all very cool tools. I want to divide this in half this way and this way. Well, I could just digitize it that way, but would it ever match up? It might. I go to my view outline icon, right click, and choose divide with a line. I'm going to left click outside the box, left click. When I'm done, I'll hit enter and generate. And look at this, I've got 4 pieces over here. So now I can change the colors so that you can see they really are 4 pieces. They really are 4 pieces, but here's one of the cool things. When you do that, it still thinks that it's 1 piece. So you can move this around without worrying about it coming apart. But say you don't want to keep it together. Just ungroup it. Now, if I want to take this one out and delete it, I can. And that one out and delete it, I can. And now I'm left with a bow tie. Divide with a line. The next one is divide with a curve. This also is one of my favorites. I'm going to make a circle. Turn it lavender. I'll go to view outline icon, right click. Let's choose divide with a curve. Now, I always say that this tool should be called divide with many points because you don't have to do a curve. If I want to start out here and do that and enter, and that and enter, I can. Now we have all these parts. And yet they are grouped together. If I draw another circle, and now I really want to divide with a curve, view outline icon, right click, divide with a curve. I can start here. Enter, escape, and now I have curved pieces. And all I did was use right clicks here and left clicks here. Divide with a curve. Very handy little feature. Divide with a line, divide with a curve. But you can divide with a line and divide with a curve with areas, but you also can divide lines. So I go to my view outline icon, right click right on that line. Always be outside the area. Generate. Now I've got 3 pieces of a line. 3 different colors. Pretty cool. If you want them to be put back together, you can do that. You just have to select them all and merge them all back up. Okay, the next one I'm going to do is the Super Align tool. I don't know how many of you are aware that we have a Super Align tool. I didn't know it for a long, long time, but we do. We have a Super Align tool. I love this tool. There's only one software I know of that does this a little better, but this is a really great tool. And I say that only because I'm being honest. But I would not trade just because of that. I'm going to drag this flower up here and generate. Oops, generate. Okay, turn on my 3D. Now I could use that called the mouse block that I did before, where I left clicked and I came over here and left click, left click, left click. But you can also select it and copy it, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paste it 5 times. Now I'm just going to drag them over here like that. Well, now they're crooked. They're all crooked. They're not even and level. So let's draw a box around them. I'm going to use these alignment tools right here. A lot of softwares have these alignment tools over here. I'm going to align everything to the bottom. You saw them move. Now I'm going to align them so that there's equal space in between them with this tool. See them move? Now that I've got them selected, I'm going to choose my Super Align tool. It's a big T. I'm going to go to the ellipse and center it on the line. These are just choices I'm making. You can choose above the line or below the line, and say OK. Now it's waiting for me to do something. So now I'm going to make a circle. Look how they jump into the circle. I think that is so cool. But now I can take this little arrow and I can change this like that so they almost touch, or like that so they do touch. And then you can still move them around if you want to. I can move this one a little bit so it's not overlapping. There's these little diamonds that you can click on and move them a little bit, and then you get your design. Now these are individuals, the little individual designs that we put into a circle, like a kaleidoscope type thing. I love this tool. I love this tool for making little extra designs. If I'm working on a set of designs and I have a little element that I like out of the designs, like I don't know, maybe in here some Jacobian designs. You can make fun little designs with it. Let's go ahead and copy. Copy. You can paste pretty much as many as you want. I don't know. Copy and paste. Then move them. Draw a box. Align them. Go to the Super Align tool. You can put them on an existing outline as well. And make some kaleidoscopes. I love making the kaleidoscopes. They're great for monograms. You can find a little element that you like. You can make monograms. All kinds of really cool little things that you can make with the Super Align tool. The next one will be alignment lines. Now, I truthfully don't know if other software has this, but if I'm working on something where I want to make sure that everything is lined up, I can left-click and drag a line down. And you see these numbers over here? These are our rulers. I can line them up exactly so that my design elements, or whatever I'm doing, if I'm doing lettering, will be perfectly lined up. I can drag them from the left-hand side, as many as I need for whatever I'm doing. And I can use that, and these are movable, so you can put them wherever you want them. If you use the grid isn't so movable. So that's why I like these alignment lines. If I'm working on something and I need to just make sure that these 2 or 3 elements are in line, I can drag this line down and make sure that everything is exactly those lines. So say I had something like this. And I want to make sure that all of these are exactly on that green line. Well, now I can just move them up there. And I can make sure that they're perfectly aligned. I love the alignment tools. Okay, and the last 2 things, one is going to be the magic wand, and we talked about that a little bit in last week's webinar. So I'm just going to quickly cover the magic wand. There are some really good uses for the magic wand, and this type of a design might be a good use for it. I'm going to do image as template and say OK. I'm going to make it smaller, so I'll take the larger number type my size in there, hit the tab, notice how it changed, and click OK. Now I'll hold my Shift key and darken my artwork. Okay, now I'm ready to go. When I take the magic wand and touch, notice how it's all funny. It's not lined up. If I just say, okay, that's what I want, I'm going to get a funny area to fill. That's interesting. Okay, let's try that again. Take my magic wand and touch this. You can drag this box over here. Now this is your color, how well it's going to pick up your color. And this is how well it's going to take care of any little weird edges and things like that. You can try different settings. When you find one you like and you generate, you can see that it fills the area. I still have my wand selected. So now I can select this one and just hit enter. I can just do all these shapes and do a design like that with the magic wand. But here's the thing. When it automatically generates for you that way, you have no control initially of what you're going to get on some of these areas. So like if I want these to be complex, it's doing an auto judge. So I now have to tell it, no, I don't want that. I want a complex fill. I want a complex fill. A quick way I would do it is a right click and drag the box around everything, then change everything to complex fill, and now go in and play and make my changes and make it look how I want it to look. Magic Wand is useful for things where there are no outlines, things are not overlapping, and big areas. They're helpful for some things. Though I do recommend you do it manually, it's a really great tool. Okay, and the last one we're going to cover is the Auto-Digitizer. Now again, I'm a manual digitizer, but I recognize that sometimes your kindergartner is going to come home and say, Mommy, I forgot that this morning we have funny t-shirt day, and you have nothing for him or her to wear. So you can just quickly go into your software and say, you know what, give me this little funny guy. Keep it a simple artwork and say, okay. Make it about a 4x4 roughly design. Then if I right click in this white area, Control Delete, the white area disappears. Now I can just hit generate. And you could, if you wanted to, send this to your machine and stitch it immediately. Would I? No. But you could if your baby had a funny t-shirt day and you got a half hour to get something on him to go. You could do that. But you could also do what I do, is a right click and drag. Now I'll hold my control key and turn off the black because I don't want to change the black. Then I will change everything to complex fill. And now he looks a little bit better. And from this point on, I would go into the editing and start changing some things to make it look more like what I would want it to look like. Here's the cool thing about Auto-Digitizing. I can ungroup this, and this is completely editable. Completely editable. You can take everything out, you can move things, you can change things. The only thing you cannot do with success is change this satin outline, which is also an auto judge. So let's choose that satin outline. We're going to make that a satin. The only thing you cannot do is take the satin outline and make it into a run. Let me show you why. Well, I would have to change the area to align and do it. It's going to be too thin, and you will have major gaps between the colors. But for an auto-digitizer, you won't find a better one on the market. And look how cute that came out. It really came out cute. We can clip some little jump stitches there and make them look a little better. And you have a design for funny t-shirt day for your baby that needs to go to school with a funny t-shirt. So those are my 10 things that I love about Generations. But I'm going to give you one more. Because I love this feature, and I didn't know it was here for many years until someone on my team, one of my apprentices, pointed this out to me. And I think this is pretty cool. You go up to Accessories and Motifs and open Motif. You have all of your motifs here. Well, now I can double click on one, and look at that, it appears as one little motif on my screen. In most software, if you want to do this, you have to take your line tool, go down here, change it into a motif border, go into your space bar, find your motif, oops, make it, and then you've got to figure out how short do I need to make that line to just get one. Is it that short? No. Is it that short? No. That's a real pain in the neck to have to do that. But we can just bring one motif in and make it whatever size we want it. I'm just going to say yes because it's saying it's locked, and do you want to do that? I think that is a very cool feature, and there's no more fussing with trying to find exactly how long your line has to be to get that one little motif for the buttons on Santa or on the snowman. So those are my 10, now 11 favorite things of the software. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you play with some of these things and experiment with how they all work.
Hi, I'm Larry. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was recorded during a live webinar that Holly taught some of her students for digitizing. At this point, she's finished the lesson that she had planned to teach, and for the next 20 or 30 minutes, probably, she'll go on and answer random questions from her students during the live webinar. I'm going to cut those off, and I'm going to take those and turn them into little video shorts to put here on our YouTube channel later. But for now, you've got this lesson, and if you enjoyed it, learned something, please give it a thumbs up. That helps our rankings with YouTube. Also, if you'd like a copy of the software that Holly's using so that you can digitize along with her, we can get you a 30-day trial that's fully functional if you just go to www.trygenerations.com. www.trygenerations.com, and we'll give you all the details there. Thanks for watching.